off at the top story tonight. Are we being unfair to Assistant Secretary of State Michael Posner? Joining us now from Minneapolis, John Hinderaker, co-founder of the Powerline blog, which is watching the story very closely. I'm going to apologize to Posner right off the bat for calling him a moron. I shouldn't have done that. But I can't believe, when we discussed the story this morning, John, I said, this can't be possible. And I asked my guys to check it out. I said, it's impossible that Posner himself brings it up. Chinese didn't even bring it up. Chinese wanted to generally criticize us for being anti-human, put us on the defensive because they're the worst regime in the world. China's the worst regime in the world, so they wanted to, slip it back to us to divert it from the horrors that they do. And this guy Posner, the Assistant Secretary of State, says, well, by the way, we're discriminating against people in Arizona. Didn't you know that? I mean, am I overstating this? Am I missing something?
Bill, I don't think you're overstating it all. As a matter of fact, I think I called Posner a moron in my post on Powerline as well. It's just unbelievable that our own State Department would apologize to China for Arizona's illegal immigration law. It's just astonishing.
All right. Now, why do you think, look, there's all kinds of speculation that every time the Obama administration goes overseas, that this stuff happens, that they apologize for the United States. They're trying to win the hearts and minds of the Muslim world, of the Chinese, by being humble. Say, yeah, we make mistakes too. Is that what's behind this?
Bill, this is what they call smart diplomacy. The Obama State Department is actually proud of the fact that they treat China as if China was on an equal plane with the United States in terms of human rights. They think that's a sophisticated approach to foreign policy. In fact, I suspect that Chinese leaders conclude that they are dealing with a bunch of dopes.
That can't be possible, though. I just can't believe it. And I may be naive, and I know the anti-Obama people out there are screaming at me, right? All right, O'Reilly, you're too soft on the man. I can't believe that the President of the United States equates America with China vis-a-vis human rights violations. I just can't believe it. It's impossible.
Bill, obviously it's ridiculous. I mean, the Chinese communist regime has murdered millions of its own citizens simply for opposing communist policies. The average Chinese has essentially no human rights. Among other things, can't even travel freely in his own country. Forget about immigration. And China does enforce its immigration laws. If a North Korean escapes into China, they'll send him back to North Korea. It's reported that they will pay bounties
if they don't shoot
turn them in.
If they don't shoot them first. Look, anybody that knows anything about China knows that if you cross that border into China from anywhere, particularly in the Muslim countries, if you're a Muslim and you come across into South China, they're going to shoot you right in the head. And then they might ask for your papers when you're bleeding on the ground. Okay, so for Posner to bring up that we may have some discrimination in Arizona, and I think you're right. The Chinese must be going to themselves, this guy is, we want him. Let's make him Secretary of State, boot out Hillary Clinton. But let me just ask you one more question, because I don't want this to be an Obama bash fest. It doesn't get us anywhere. I understand the Muslim controversy, that Obama needs Muslim countries to help the United States, and we do get good intelligence from Jordan, Kuwait, Egypt. So anti-Muslim posture didn't help us. But China, I'm not getting this at all. China and America are rivals. We're rivals. And they have an abysmal human rights record that we're trying to convince them not to be as bad as they are. And then you throw this in the mix, and they're going to say, well, you guys are bad too, so we'll continue to do whatever we want. Right?
I think that's right. There are certain things we're trying to get from China, of course, like sanctions against Iran. But obviously, this kind of confession of error on the part of the United States is not going to influence the Chinese to impose sanctions on Iran. I think, Bill, that there is a fundamental anti-Americanism that runs through a good deal of the Obama administration. This guy, Michael Posner, used to be the executive director of a left-wing organization called Human Rights First that sued Donald Rumsfeld, ostensibly on behalf of Afghans and Iraqis who were tortured in American custody. That's just the anti-American ideology that a lot of these people have.
That's a very interesting point, and we appreciate it, John. Thanks very much.